Sifuna, what is the latest position on the protests? Have they been called off? Have they been suspended? Is a change of tack because the CS Interior says muliingia kwa nyasi?
Of course, Trevor, first let me say good morning to all the viewers. You all know that we took a break yesterday and today and throughout the weekend for us to be able to mourn with the families of the victims of the police brutality, the people that Kindiki is referencing there. You know, Kindiki doesn't strike me as somebody who has even ever, slaughtered a chicken. And when he talks and he says Kujeni, it's not as if he is the one who's going to be there in the streets. I have never seen Kindiki in the streets. So when he says Kujeni, he himself, when they tell us, oh, come yourselves, come with your children and your wives, Kindiki knows when he is talking like that, he is not going to be the one in the streets. I am not going to meet Kindiki. He's hiding behind the police and the instruments of violence of the state. Number two, it is quite shameful for somebody who calls himself a professor of law to celebrate and just thump at how he has been effective in denying people's rights. Because as we have said here, times without number, the Constitution gives us a right to peaceful demonstrations. Yesterday, Trevor, you guys have just run the report here. There were candle vigils across the country. What was the justification, for instance, for the police breaking up the candle lighting ceremony in Mombasa? That is what Kindiki prides himself. Now he sees that he is a man. He has done a good job. He has bludgeoned children and women in their houses, and he feels that he's proud that now that he's a man, he has done a good job. What we want to make clear is that we wish we saw the same level of eloquence when it comes to a plan for getting this economy running, a plan for making sure that every Kenyan has food. But the eloquence is only clear when they are telling you how they are going to subvert the rights of the people, how they are going to beat you and hurt you and harm you. But when you ask them, when are you going to drop the price of unga? Kindiki is not that eloquent. He will develop a speech impediment immediately. So it is very shameful. And I like the statement that was put out by the Law Society of Kenya, that in fact these professional bodies need to begin censuring members of the Law Society of Kenya who are lawyers, who have somehow forgotten that they took an oath of office. I have taken oaths of office on 3 occasions, Trevor. The first one was when I was admitted as an advocate of the High Court. Before the then Chief Justice in 2008, I swore to uphold, defend that Constitution. I took the oath again when I was elected as a member of the Law Society of Kenya Council in 2016. I swore to uphold and defend that Constitution. I took an oath recently when I was elected as a Senator of Nairobi to uphold and defend that Constitution. And I will do so even when people who are supposed to be teachers of law, like Kindiki, have forgotten those oaths that they took. And the fact that you can chest thump, knowing full well that you are not the one visiting that violence. That Kindiki cannot even hold a rungo and come and beat me up. But he's talking like that because he knows he can hide behind the police. Shame on you, Kindiki.
So what happens after next week?
We have a press conference on Friday. We will explain the way forward because we will never let down our constitutional rights. That I can tell you. The protests are ours to plan. We are not planning depending on the schedule of the government or Kindiki's schedule. I can decide tomorrow that we are going to have protests. That is my right. So it is not as if we have not suspended any constitutional provision. These rights, Trevor, the way you give life to rights is to exercise them. Nobody is going to tell us when we can protest or not. On Friday, we will give a fresh direction on the next wave of protest until, as we have said, the government listens to the people of Kenya.
So Friday is tomorrow?
Friday is tomorrow.
You're saying the next wave of protest,
we will give you a schedule again. We will announce. Once we have laid to rest the innocents who have been slaughtered by the police, we will announce again. It doesn't matter how many of us you kill. I am telling you, Trevor, we will never put down the rights given to us by this Constitution because these things did not come easily. People lost their lives for us to have this document. It was not easy. So we're not going to have these pseudo-professors of law telling us when we can exercise or not. Kindiki does not scare anyone. He doesn't scare anyone because he knows. He's not the one who will come to my house to arrest me. If he tries, he knows what will happen. Okay. He will send goons in police uniform. Kuja wewe mwenyewe Kindiki. Akuje yeye mwenyewe.
Okay.
Hey.